Hello, guys and gals. Me, Mutahar, and I hope my Argentinian friends are cracking some Coronas right now. It's a wild day indeed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know me when it comes to football because that's what the rest of the world calls it. I'm always there for my hemisphere, okay? Simple as that. If my time zone's winning, I'm happy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, about all that good stuff, I wanted to talk about something that's been going on, and it's not just the voices in my head. What happened to split screen? No, I'm serious. What happened? All right, back in the day when it came to Xbox 360 gaming, PlayStation 3, I felt like every game that came out had a split screen component. And while split screen isn't dead, some games do have it. I think games like Rocket League do. I have to imagine the newest Call of Duties have to have some level of split screen. If they took that away, I'd cry. But ladies and gentlemen, obviously with game franchises like Halo, which you always expect, damn, it should have split screen. They don't have it. Now, the problem with it is computer graphics and computer hardware has exponentially gotten a lot better. Now, for me, I'm one of those people where, like, if you have access to some of the highest-end hardware, you're pretty much sitting there with your computer being untapped, okay? You're not really touching the potentials. Now, today's video is brought to you by Virtual Machines. I know! Muda! This is the 700th time you've brought up Virtual Machines throughout your career, and you know what? You are right. But the reality is, I really wanted to use my computer hardware to the utmost extreme. See, there's a game known as Elden Ring. Alright, now Elden Ring has an amazing mod called Seamless Co-op. If you haven't touched Seamless Co-op, it basically makes the Elden Ring multiplayer, actually functioning, playable. You can actually jump into the game and, participate like you probably should. You can make up a party of up to 4 people and explore the world together. The problem is, Elden Ring doesn't have split screen built into it by default. So I wanted to play this game cooperatively, but I figured, how am I going to do it? What if I wanted to play it split screen, okay? Like God intended. Well, ladies and gentlemen, remember a while ago, about a month back, I made a video where I talked about paravirtualizing my 4090? Well, I decided today I'm going to show you a real-world example of the situation. Now, if anybody knows about it, Hyper-V, which is the manager I'm using in this case, now this is a Windows-exclusive feature. You could do this on Linux, all right, if you follow things like libvfio, and you have an older NVIDIA card, maybe something from the 20 series, the 10 series, so to speak. You get what I mean? If you had something from there, you might be able to achieve it underneath Linux. But for this, I had to ashamedly use Windows 11 to host my computer, as disgusting and filthy as that sounds. Now here I have a virtual machine, and if you look up the settings for it, you can see that I've got 16 gigs of RAM. I'm giving it about 16 virtual processors from a 32-threaded system, my AMD Ryzen 9 5950X, a pretty beefy processor. And of course, I'm splitting what is my RTX 4090. Now, by doing this, what I effectively did was I was able to install Elden Ring. Now, for this, you have to buy multiple copies of the game. I'm sure in the sea of pirates around, you might be able to circumvent this, but I do not promote piracy. Piracy is wrong, immoral, and Jesus will not let you in to heaven if you pirate a video game, okay? That's what I've learned, all right, from Nintendo fanboys. But of course, I bought 2 copies of Elden Ring, all right, and I got somebody else to install the game, run it with me. And ladies and gentlemen, may I show you the fruits of the labor? The game is actually running cooperative. Here I got Sonichu and Rosichu running through the world of Elden Ring cooperatively together using this one mod. Now, of course, this brought me up to a whole new litany of things. Could you do this with other games? The reality is, yes, you can. If the game doesn't prevent a virtual machine like Valorant or Rainbow Six Siege, or Elden Ring in this case, I had to use a mod to circumvent the anti-cheat, you too can actually play cooperative. Muda, what if I wanted to play Halo Master Chief Collection? Totally possible. Cooperative and multiplayer indeed. Remember back in the day with the Halo 3, you could fire up a split screen session on one box and play with your friend online? Well, now you have to go through virtualizing 2 graphic cards off of one in order to achieve the same effect. Now, of course, what does this mean in the grand scheme of things? It means in some capacity, in the roughest way possible, split-screen gaming is back. And honestly, what about the performance, Mutahar? Well, I'm proud to say that under 1080p, which is the standard resolution I split my monitor in, thank God for ultra-wides, I was able to get a consistent 60 frames per second between both systems. Now, of course, you could theoretically go all the way up to 2 more copies of Elden Ring on the same hardware, although the frame rate would probably jump down to somewhere around 30 frames per second running off the same box. Playable, 4-player, indeed, But in my actual studies, I think 2 was fine enough, okay? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the latency wasn't really the problem, but one of the coolest things that I found about this too is if you have friends that don't have gaming computers and you want to play a game with them, well, using things like Parsec, we are actually able to share the virtual machines across the country. And in this case, we were actually able to share the machine all the way out to California, get somebody to connect. Now, of course, even beyond all of it, let's talk about the split screen gaming. Obviously, split screen does take resources. One thing that is learned from this endeavor is that obviously this is the most rough way to do it. We are literally running 2 instances of the same program. In a typical console game, the split screening is achieved obviously by rendering the viewports twice, but because there's special code that can be written, you can include things and you can better manage the memory and the system to support more than one person playing the game at one given time. This is not possible with these methods. You are literally splitting a computer's resources into 2 to provide for 2 copies of the game. Now, in the case of Elden Ring, one of the problems that I did come across was through this method. Obviously, if my main system, the host, is playing the game and they're, pushing the graphics hard, it's going to impact all the VMs around you. So typically, this is noticed by their performance going just a little bit lower than usual. It'll spike back up, or sometimes everyone will come across a massive frame spike lag. So the game will just straight up freeze throughout the entire thing. But in my testing and the extended play that we have, and we played for a few hours, obviously from the beginning of the game up until we fought Margit, and did a whole bunch of exploration, some grinding indeed, it was learned that as we played through the game, these things would happen, but they would be occasional over time, okay? They wouldn't impact the experience so severely. Now, of course, even beyond this, and then I decided to research more about actual split-screen gaming. And I found out there's a whole program for this called Nucleus Co-op, which basically allows you to download a few handlers, connect controllers to your computer, and launch actual instances of the game and play them. And ladies and gentlemen, guess what? We were able to play some Black Ops 2 Zombies split screen on the PC. In fact, even better than that, if you have multiple monitors connected, you can give everyone their own monitor. You could literally play Halo split screen without the screen peaking. I mean, you lose like 70% of the experience, but you get the point. Look, at the end of the day, I'm trying to bring back split screen as much as I can. I feel like with every game that's co-op, let's just be honest, it's a conspiracy. Gaming companies want you to spend more money on boxes and video game licenses. It's not like the old days where 4 guys can sit together, goon each other off, and play with 1 copy of the game. You share 1 bag of Cheetos, 1 game. We ain't back there anymore, ladies and gentlemen. We live in a world where they want you to spend multiple game licenses. And of course, games have gotten far better looking. But I figured with systems like the PS5 and the strongest console in the world, the Xbox Series X, maybe, just maybe, we could have split screen back to some extent. You could actually take this method and play Warzone Battle Royale duos together on the same damn box. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to look through split screen gaming, and to be honest with you, I've been having a blast doing it. And I think I might actually do this with more of my friends, people who don't have gaming computers, because honestly, with the resources that I've spent into my gaming system, why not share it with the friends around me? That's simply what it comes down to. Honestly, playing Elden Ring cooperatively on the same box has been kind of a mind-blowing situation. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I'm Mutahar, and I'm installing Windows 98 on my Steam Deck.